I've talked about Jack London before. I've talked about, I have some videos up on YouTube about Jack London. One of them over there at Jack London State Park, another one when I was talking at Book Passage. So here I am back talking about Jack London. There's always more to be said about Jack London. So about a month ago, out of the blue, a fellow from Brazil gets in touch with me and says that he's doing a Jack London project. He wants to publish a book and an e-book and a real book, some of Jack London's writings, and he wants me to write an introduction. So this is the cover to Decipher America. You know, he's saying to me that he thinks that America, the USA, is kind of like the Sphinx, mysterious. Like, how do you come to terms with, what is this place and what is it about? And I said, oh, well, yeah, great. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. So he asked me what books of London, what I thought were some of London's best books. So I recommended, I think, 5 books, and he selected 3 of them. He selected The Call of the Wild, the story about Buck, which is a kind of parable about using the dog to tell a bigger story about bondage and freedom. That's a big theme there. And then the other book I recommend is called The Iron Heel, which is like about the coming of a dictatorship to the United States. They do away with civil rights and civil liberties, and it's told by a woman, and her boyfriend lover is one of the leaders of the revolution, and he gets killed. So this is the time. It's always timely because people are always getting rid of civil rights and civil liberties, and people are always having fighting to bring them back, and all over the world. And there's this swing towards the iron heel in Hungary and Brazil, Korea, all these like thugs in power. And then the other book is called John Barleycorn, and this one is about Jack London's own problems with alcohol, his alcoholism. He subtitled this Alcoholic Memoir. So these 3 books of London's have never been put together in a single volume before, and I think that they work well together, about dictatorship, oligarchy, revolutionaries, problem of alcohol, and how alcohol would just colors your whole life, and his whole battles, how it's this real struggle with that, and then the Call of the Wild, a story about bondage and freedom. And so I wrote this a long essay. Actually, I had the essay written already. It was in my computer, and when this new friend of mine from Brazil asked me about an introduction, I went into my computer, looked in my Jack London file, and I remembered that I had written a whole lot about Jack London, which never published, didn't do anything with it. So I opened up one of the documents and read it and really liked it, and and I sent it to him. It's pretty long. It's about a little over 30,000 words. So, and it really gets into London psychologically, and his childhood and his origins and background, and how all of that influenced his art, the autobiographical aspects of his fiction. And I don't think anybody has really, looked at Jack London the way that I do in this essay, and on his life, his work, his legend, peeling away the layers of this guy who, in a lot of ways, he seemed to be out there and in the open, but it was very secretive, and there was stuff that about himself that he never went public with. So, about his birth, and his mother didn't tell him the true story about his birth, and he only found out years and years later, and it like haunted him for a long time. So I think that Jack London is a voice from the past, but I think that his work can be helpful in understanding what's going on in the present. I think literature can do that, and Jack London was a prophetic writer. He was always interested in where mankind was going. And Ezra Pound once said that the artist was the antenna of the race. The artist was a person who's sort of picking up signals from the future and like conveying them to the audience. So yeah, London was very good at looking around him and seeing what was going on in the society and thinking, well, yeah, this is going to develop. This aspect is going to get magnified. He understood or predicted the future by looking very carefully at the present, seeing where the trajectories are going to go. So I would recommend people like checking this out at Amazon to Decipher America. Think about how do you make sense of this country that we live in, that in some ways seems to be the home of freedom and the land of the brave, but it has this history of slavery and civil war and expansionism and colonialism and people. Some of the early settlers wanted it to be a city on the hill and a beacon to all the world, and it has been that, but it has also been a very dark kind of place. And in a lot of ways, the noir writers like Dashiell Hammett and Raymond Chandler and Dorothy Hughes, they're noir writers, have really gotten into the darkness about American society, its corruption and the crime and the violence, which is still with us. So, yay, Jack.